Good morning, Delta students. Our lesson today will be about accompanied forces with motion. There are many accompanied forces with motion. We can classify them into groups. أول جروب عندي forces originated due to motion ودي فيها two forces, force of inertia and friction force. وforces cause motion ودي force inside living systems. Firstly عندي force of inertia. What is the meaning of inertia? It's a property of an object to resist the change of its phase from rest to motion in a regular speed and in a straight line unless an external force acted upon it. طب ده يعني ايه؟ عندي for example الفان في وضع الموشن لما باجي اعمل لها ستوب بلاقي ان الارم بتاعتها still moving يبقى الفان عندي بتعمل ريزيست للتشينج اللي حصل لها في الموشن بتاعتها to rest. طيب for example مثلا لو انا جبت small plastic cubes in my arm and walk forward fast and suddenly I stopped, what will happen? These plastic cubes move forward and fall down on the ground. طب ايه السبب ان الكيوبس دي fall down on the ground? The cubes resist the sudden stopping of the palm of your hand due to inertia. يبقى force of inertia make object resist the change of their motion. طب انا ايه الاكزامبلز عندي على الفورس اوف inertia او appears in ايه؟ Number 1 bus passenger rush forward when the bus suddenly stops. الباص لما يكون في وضع الموشن and stop suddenly بلاقي ان الباسنجر الموجودين فيه rushed forward. طب ممكن يجي لي سؤال هنا give reason. الانسر عندي due to inertia for the passenger and the driver. It makes them resist the sudden stopping of the vehicles to maintain the state of motion. So they rush forward. Another example, the bus passengers rushed backward when the bus starts moving after was in rest. لما يبدأ يحصل moving للباص from rest to motion لأن الباسنجر الموفمنت بتاعتهم rushed backward. ممكن يجي برضو عليها give reason يبقى الأنسر عندي due to inertia for the passenger and driver. It makes them resist the sudden motion of the vehicle to maintain the state of rest, so they rushed back. Number 3, a football player rush forward and fall down when he is stripped. Give reason برضو هتبقى due to force of inertia. زي ما باين عندي هنا the passenger and the driver in a moving bus are rushed forward when the bus stops suddenly. But when the car or the bus stops suddenly, passenger and the driver try to maintain their state of motion. So they rush forward. From the state of motion to the state of rest. يبقى rushed forward. طيب from the state of rest to the state of motion, rushed backward. It's clear that object resists change in its state being in rest or motion due to inertia. طيب ايه عندي بقى technological application on force of inertia؟ السيت بيلت. ممكن يجي لي على السيت بيلت give reason. Policeman advise driver to use safety belts in cars. طيب السيت بيلت بيعمل ايه عندي في الكار؟ It work on stopping the force of inertia and not to injure or hurt car or plane passenger when a sudden change in motion occurs. Number 2 عندي الفريكشن فورس. يعني ايه friction force؟ Force resulted from the friction between object and surrounding medium. يبقى أنا عندي الفريكشن occurs between object and surrounding medium, which generate force known as friction force. طيب surrounding medium ده ممكن يكون ايه؟ It may be gaseous, liquid, or solid. Gaseous medium like air, liquid surface as water, solid surface as the ground. طيب الريليشن عندي between friction force and the speed is inverse. يعني by increasing the friction force the speed of the object decreased. ايه الاكزامبل عندي على الفريكشن فورس؟ الاكزامبل عندي الفريكشن between the tire of the bicycle and the brakes. ممكن يجي فيها سؤال give reason. Once you use the brakes of a moving bike, its speed decreases gradually until it stops. Because the friction between the tire of the bike and the brakes generate a friction force against motion of the bike which leads to resist it. طيب أنا عندي بعد كده في benefits and harms for the friction. Number one عندي benefits of friction. It prevents slipping during walking on roads. Number two, it helps in stopping and starting the motion of cars. And number three, it helps in burning of matches. طيب ممكن يجيلي على benefits of friction give reason. Car tires are covered with a very coarse substance or a rough substance. الأنسر عندي هتكون to increase friction between tires and the road to help car in starting motion and stopping. Secondly عندي harms of friction. Number one, losses of mechanical energy because mechanical energy changes to heat. Number two, it produces heat energy due to the friction between some parts of the machines. This heat stretches these parts and affect their performance and tears out fast. Number three, it causes erosions of machine parts and damage them. Okay, how to limit the friction force? Number one عندي في الcars, ships, rockets and fish have streamlined shape. طيب ليه ليها streamlined shape? To reduce the air and water resistance. Number two, lubricating and oiling mechanical machines. ليه بعمل lubricating and oiling للميكانيكال machine? To reduce the friction between moving parts of machines and prevent their erosion. زي ما قلنا قبل كده car tires are covered with a very coarse or rough substance to increase friction between tires and the road to help a car in starting motion and stopping. The third type of force inside living systems or the biological force. There are forces inside living systems. Enable living organisms to do their different biological operation. طيب أنا بقسم الفورس دي in the living organism into simple systems such as unicellular composed of one cell, only one cell, or complex systems such as multicellular living organism ده بيكون البودي consist of many systems. Okay, these forces enable living organisms to do their different biological operations and keep their survival and vitality. Okay, what is the meaning of biological forces? They are forces inside living systems that enable living organisms to do their different biological operations. For example, of force inside living systems, heart muscles, contraction and relaxation. Okay, طب الcontraction and relaxation of heart بيعمل ايه عندي؟ It helps the heart to pump blood all over the body organs and vice versa. ممكن يجي give reason blood is pumped all over the body organs. يبقى الأنسر عندي due to heart muscle contraction and relaxation. عندي rule of the heart in rising blood from bottom to the top is similar to the role of water pump in rising water from canals and groundwater walls against the earth's gravity. عندي كمان pulse inside the blood vessels and liquid transport through pores and the wall of the cells from low concentration to the higher concentration. يبقى أنا عندي liquids transported from low concentration to the higher concentration. Number 3, rising of water and salts from the soil of plant. عندي بتنقل في البلانت from root, stem, then to leaves against the earth's gravity force. آخر حاجة عندي the contraction and relaxation of muscles help the body organs to move.